Welcome back into the Sports Source. I want to welcome in our newest sponsor to the show, Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land. Phil and his team have 30 years of experience selling East Tennessee homes and land. Phil himself is a lifer here in Knoxville, a Big Orange backer his whole life, and more than $300 million in real estate transactions. Now, folks, that's a group that takes care of business. You need to get in touch with them, and we look forward to talking about them over the weeks and months ahead. Also, want to say how happy we are to still have new folks, Nova Copy and East Tennessee Personal Care Services, on board with us. The beauty of this show is the fact that you go out and support our sponsors, and they're the ones that allow us to do this. This is an independent show, so when we tell you about our sponsors, they're the ones that are responsible for this, and the more you go out and support them, the better off we'll be. I certainly appreciate your help year in, year out on the Sports Source. All right, back with Jimmy, Mark, Mike Strange is over here. Chuck Cavaleris is over at the Wipey board. Chuck, I'm going to ask you, go ahead and flip that first card, and I'll describe what we're doing here. I went back, and this is through last year, since the season's not over. This is through last year. We found the 50 winningest programs in the NCAA history all time, all right? So you look there, Tennessee's not up there with a Kentucky or a Kansas, a North Carolina, Duke, Syracuse. But I want to see, which programs do you think Tennessee could steal a coach from? And we're going to say even money. I mean, Temple and St. John's, would a Temple coach come to Tennessee? Would a St. John's coach come to Tennessee? Because the rest of them, I don't see them moving. Thoughts? Anyone? Anyone?
I agree with you, and I think that number 6 and 7 on your board, Temple and St. John's, would be the most likely of those. I don't see the others making a move, though, to Tennessee.
Agreed.
Okay, everybody here kind of agree on those two. Mark, you're in the basketball circles. What are your thoughts?
I agree. What's interesting is it's all about expectations, and a Tom Crean right now is getting blasted in Indiana media about what he's done, and so it's, you never know if fans
all things being equal is what we're doing. All things being equal.
Okay, I got you. Then yeah, it's only Temple and St. John's.
Okay, Chuck, you want to put a mark beside Temple and St. John's, if you will? Any color. Pick a color.
Pick a color.
All right, so Temple and St. John. There you go. Now let's go ahead and I got you writing. I got you flipping.
All right.
Come on, Vanna. Here we go.
Here we go.
And these are teams 11 through 20 in terms of all-time wins. Pennsylvania up there, number 11. I think Tennessee could get a coach from Penn, but people forget, Illinois. The numbers to the right there, I should have mentioned that. That's how many Final Fours, and that's through this year. So Final Fours, Penn has been to a Final Four. You look at Louisville 10, Illinois 5. People think of Tennessee as being way up there, just a rung below Louisville and Kansas and stuff. Teams like Illinois are ahead of a Tennessee, I would think, with the recruiting base and everything else. All right, BYU. I think Tennessee could get a big coach from BYU. What about Utah?
Yes.
With 4 Final Fours? Okay. Washington. Go ahead and mark them off, Chuck, whichever ones you think. BYU, well, yeah, Penn. Well, we didn't say Illinois, but that's all right. I don't think you could get a coach from Illinois to Tennessee.
Well,
Correct.
Well, the argument is the Big Ten is so competitive. You have so many really good teams. And in the SEC right now, you have 3, maybe 4 good teams. And so you might be able to pull a middle to lower Big Ten coach and get them to come to a Tennessee because it's easier place to win.
Okay. See, I think that depends because you also have those coaches that are all fighting to get into the ACC. There's always people that want to test themselves against the best conference and wouldn't want to go to a conference that's only putting 3 teams in the tournament. But I see that argument could go either way. Anybody else? Western Kentucky?
Yes.
All right. What about Purdue, Oregon State?
I think Oregon State.
Oregon State.
Well, here's the thing, though. Look at Tennessee's history of hiring basketball coaches. When have they ever hired anybody away from a program like that?
That would be never.
Yeah.
I mean, Marquette is the closest you come. In Oregon, you got Jerry Green from Oregon.
Yeah. There you go.
That worked. And you had Kevin O'Neill from Marquette. Let's flip the third one here. Is Tennessee in the 20 to 30 range? No, they're not. Cincinnati, look there, 6 Final Fours. Arizona, forget about Arizona. It's a good program. Princeton, you could get the coach from Princeton. So let's put a check by Princeton. I don't think you could pull somebody from West Virginia. I may be wrong, but that's a good history, and Bobby Huggins is there now. But West Virginia and Tennessee, even, Steven, or do you think Tennessee's a better job?
I think Tennessee's a better job.
Okay.
I do too.
Okay, then scratch that one there. Bradley, I think clear. NC State, I mean, you've got a national championship. You've got 3 Final Fours. I don't think Tennessee's a better job than NC State.
But 2 weeks ago, I thought we might be finding out.
UConn, you're not better than UConn, Villanova. Missouri State, obviously, that's where you got Gonzo. Tennessee over Georgetown? I mean, that's tremendous history. All right, let's see if they're in the top 40. Surely they're in the top 40, aren't they?
Here we go.
No, they're not. Okay, in terms of all-time wins, you got Ohio State with 10 Final Fours thrown in. Oklahoma State, a traditional basketball power. Alabama has more all-time wins than Tennessee. Arkansas has more all-time wins than Tennessee, plus 6 Final Fours and a national championship. Missouri has more all-time wins, but no Final Fours. Michigan State, obviously a strong program. Oklahoma, Kansas State, St. Joseph's, I think is obvious. Iowa. Guys, you tell me on those. Tennessee's a better job than who?
St. Joe's.
Missouri.
Alabama.
I don't think anybody from Missouri would leave to go to Tennessee unless there was some extenuating circumstances.
I think it's a better job than Alabama in the last 10 years.
Okay. All right. Let's flip the next one. And finally, here's all-time win. This is where Tennessee ranks, 41st. All right. Washington State, Marquette right there, but they've got 3 Final Fours. Illinois State, Pittsburgh, Vanderbilt, Dayton, Oregon. You got a coach from there, Minnesota and Murray State.
You got a coach from Marquette.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a coach from Pitt.
That's right. You tried to get Jamie Dixon and couldn't. That's right. So I think you can put a lot there. I mean, I think it's better than Washington State, Murray State. Who is better than Tennessee on that list? Pitt?
Pitt.
See, I think Marquette depends. But anyway, okay. Let's flip the last one. And these teams weren't in the top 50 in terms of all-time wins, but all these teams have 3 or more Final Fours. Florida, Houston, Michigan, LSU with 4 Final Fours, UNLV, Cal, San Francisco years and years ago, in Wisconsin. The thing I look at this list, it's not to say Tennessee shouldn't aim for the stars. I mean, that should be the goal. But anyone who expects this team, and I had somebody tell me, Tennessee should never lose 10 games in a season. Well, look, that is history.
In football, they're right.
Yeah.
And they never have.
That's right. But I mean, the history suggests you can set that up as a goal. It should not be the expectation. I know people say, well, no, demand excellence. Yeah, let's see you do that in your own job. You always hear that from people about coaches.
And they're usually unemployed.
Yeah, the people that.
Yeah, that demand excellence.
Yeah. Thoughts on the list, though? I mean, does anything surprise you about Tennessee now that you've looked at that list and those jobs? Is that about what you would think from Tennessee, or has it opened your eyes a little bit and maybe they're not as high up the ladder as you might have thought? Chuck, I'll start with you.
Well, it shows me why they tend to go after the up-and-coming guys sometimes too, and that's what you got to hit on, because a lot of these, you're not going to be able to get somebody these schools are after as a rule.
Since you mentioned Final Fours, have those listed there. I looked it up this week. 90 schools have been to the Final Four. Tennessee is not.
Wow, 90.
But I think Tennessee's better than the 90th best job.
Yeah, I do too.
I'll feel strong in saying that.
Yeah.
Mark Pankratz, thank you very much. Great job. First basketball season with us. We appreciate it. If there's any other breaking news, no offense to you, but I hope there isn't for a while, we will call on you and look forward to having you back with us next year and anytime basketball does come up. Great job. Thank you very much. All right. When we come back, Bob Hodge rejoins us. We're going to answer your questions. It's the Sunday Social. We're going to take some Twitter questions. Come on back on the Sports Source.
You are watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television.